The information presented is for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed are not necessarily the opinions of any Daikin company. This information should not be confused for accounting, legal, medical, or other professional advice. Please seek advice from a qualified professional for any specific questions.
Welcome to the Accelerated HVAC Success program. My name is Ben Middleton. I'm the National Sales Training Manager for the Goodman, Amana, and Daikin brands. Today, we're joined here with Jack Blackstone, and he is the owner of Jack's Heating and Air Conditioning. Jack, thank you so much for joining us.
Very happy to be here. And just to clarify that just a tiny bit, so Jack's Heating and Air Conditioning, 3 years ago, we sold it to our parent company, Bourne's Energy.
Okay.
And we operate Jack's as basically a division of Bourne's Energy.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
So, Jack, I ask all of our guests that come on here, how in the world did you first get into HVAC?
So my background was I was in the Navy for 21 years and was a submarine mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I got my training in air conditioning and refrigeration and many other things. And when I retired from the Navy, it was a pretty good fit for me to get into the HVAC trade.
Okay.
So that's how I got into it.
Did you start off with your own company or did you work for someone else?
No, I worked for a couple of small contractors, and then in 2005 we started our own company.
And I hear we can't verify it, but I hear you may have been one of the first HVAC contractors to install a Daikin unit in the state of Vermont.
That's what they tell me. I'm not positive that they weren't just trying to make me feel good, but anyway, we did install very early Daikin product in Vermont.
Okay. And you were telling me a little bit about it before we got started. The customer had actually asked you for the Daikin product.
Yeah, exactly. So we were remodeling a house with a contractor, and the customer had done some research, and they found Daikin. And at the time, they were the most efficient mini split product that you could purchase.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked for it. I asked my local supply house, and turns out, yeah, we sell those. And so we bought one and put it in. And quite honestly, the install was super smooth and simple. The product was quiet.
Mm-hmm.
The temperature rise across the coil in heating mode was far exceeded anything else that we had done. And I like to say when we plugged it in, it worked. And that was a bonus over some of the stuff we get to install. So we've been installing them ever since.
Okay.
Yep.
So when it comes to being a Daikin contractor, what are some of the things that you think sets you apart from maybe some of the other brands that are out there when you go out and offer and talk to consumers with this product?
Well, though on a technical aspect, this may not seem important to folks, but we're coming into somebody's house and we're going to hang a big white box on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that big white box looks is very important to Mrs. Smith. And the thing that I find a lot of them like is that the Daikin product is a matte finish and it's off-white and it's got soft corners. It's not a, appliance white, bright shiny unit with some of them have the temperature display in green flashing in the, it's not that at all. That's just from a aesthetics point of view, but mechanically, they're just incredibly reliable. We have, like I said, I've been putting them in for about 18 years. I don't know how many we've installed, but it's in the thousands. I've had to replace one compressor, and that was one that we didn't install. A homeowner installed it himself, and his refrigerant line set was just way too short, and it ate the compressor. But we have very few problems. They're a quality product, and they're at a really good price point for our customers. So that's that's primarily, I would say.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's interesting today. Daikin is we've got all this regulatory changes that are happening. Everybody's looking towards, the new refrigerants that we're going to be offering and where we're going. But you guys actually started installing A2L refrigerants a while ago. And so when did you put in your first R32 unit?
Well, we put in our first R32 unit last year when the state of Vermont first approved it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, we put in a Daikin Atmosphera. Um, and after we installed one for a customer, the techs really liked it. It went in very well. One of the things that they mentioned right off for servicing them in the future is that on the indoor unit, the condensate tray comes out of it
Mm-hmm.
to service it, and that's going to be huge. But the efficiency, when you look at the efficiency numbers, the SEER ratings and the HSPF numbers are all higher than the standard products that we can purchase from Daikin. And it's just it looks like it's going to be a really good product for us.
So I think whenever you talk about regulation change within the industry, there's always a little bit of nervousness that everybody has in our industry when you see these things being mandated. And I know there were hurdles that people had when we changed. You probably remember going from R22 to 410A when we
Sure.
changed from that, and,
Yep.
and now we're looking at changing to another refrigerant. Uh, were there any comments that your field folks had as far as the difference between installing with 410A versus R32 and being able the ease of install?
No differences at all for us. So the only difference is that we purchased a few new vacuum pumps that are A2L, rated. But thus far, we've probably installed a couple dozen of them thus far, and we haven't had to service one yet.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as from an installer point of view, straight up, very, very similar.
So was there any other tools that your guys needed, or any additional training before your guys went out and put the unit in?
So we did have some training on A2L refrigerants, but the recovery units that we use were already A2L rated. So didn't have really, it was just a few vacuum pumps that we had to purchase, and those are readily available and very reasonably priced. That was the only thing. So
Okay.
yeah.
When it came to the consumer, and you're out talking to the consumer and proposing this new refrigerant, was there any dialogue or conversation that you and the homeowner had before putting the new product in?
So our customer base in Vermont is a lot of folks are very interested in being environmentally responsible,
Mm-hmm.
and R32 having a lower global warming potential than 410A is attractive to a big portion of our customer base.
Mm-hmm.
So having that conversation really helps promote the product, but also the efficiency numbers. The efficiency numbers of the Atmosphera being, in my opinion, substantially better at cold temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't say my opinion, but that's the facts. So it's just it's a good product that pretty much it sells itself when it's an appropriate product for the customer.
So from a sales standpoint, it seemed to resonate with the consumers quite a bit. The installers have you talked with your service guys or yourself with your background and just looking at some of the characteristics, are there any characteristics about R32 that you're excited about where, hey, this may be a little bit of a game changer for us when it comes to 410A versus R32?
Well, I mean, just the fact that it is, a single part refrigerant,
Mm-hmm.
that makes it a little less complicated. 410A, however, is, pretty, how do I want to say it? We're R32 and 125, which have a very, very similar boiling point, and so they evaporate very close to one another. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not that difficult to work with. But 32, it's going to be very straightforward, and it's so. Some folks are concerned about the flammability, but it is so mildly flammable that we were talking before this about. I just bought a new refrigerator,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got butane in it.
Right.
as a refrigerant. So, I don't think that there's anything to be concerned about at all with 32. So,
Okay. In terms of maybe some of the other competitive product, there's several other manufacturers that have said they're going to go 454B.
mhm,
Product's not out in the market yet
mhm.
today. Where do you kind of see yourself as we move forward with this and looking at R32 versus a 454B alternative as we look to the lower GWP refrigerants that are coming?
Honestly, we are we more lean ourselves toward the manufacturer
Mm-hmm.
and getting a quality product. And so, quite honestly, whatever way Daikin goes is probably going to be the way that we go. It's just we've been installing them for so long. Our parent company, Bourne's Energy, um, uh, the two of us do install a couple of competitive brands, but under the Jack's umbrella, the Daikin is by far the lead for us. Bourne's Energy, I believe those guys they're in Morrisville, Vermont. We're in
Mm-hmm.
Milton, Vermont. I believe they've installed about a dozen of the atmospheres, though. So
Okay.
yeah, and all of the techs that have worked on them have been very pleased with them. So
Jack, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you coming out here. Do you have any last words of wisdom that you'd like to share with your fellow contractors or just any advice that you can think of?
I would just again like to say how robust the Daikin product is, and compared to other units, all of the mini split heat pumps do the same thing,
Hmm.
and they're all quite reliable. But we've just been really really pleased with the Daikin line and ease of installation and ease of service. So that's what I would say about that. Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us here, Jack. And for all of you that are out there, please go ahead and like this episode if you'd like to see more of these types of episodes. And please go ahead and follow us so that you can see all of the upcoming information that we have. Jack, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.